Blood has always been a sticky subject for me. I'm not afraid of seeing blood, or bleeding for that matter. I've split my knee open countless times on long hikes through the Santa Monica Mountains with my family and our many animals. And I've watched many vials of my blood be drawn at doctors' offices and sent to labs for testing. For me, it's the concept of blood, the idea that blood defines parts of who we are that has proven difficult for me to embrace. At birth, I was taken away from my bloodline, adopted from a teenage Sri Lankan mother and absent Sri Lankan father. Even though I was too young to have formed any personal connections with my birth family, my adoptive mom kept the adoption open. She had connected in a positive way with my birth mother and wanted to preserve the opportunity for a relationship to form between me and her later down the line and throughout my life. Some might find this to be a controversial decision, the idea of maintaining ties with a child's adoptive family. However, my mom was hardly conventional and believed that life was long enough for people to sort things out with one another. To a toddler Koda, this meant nothing. I was simply happy to be home, to be held, to be loved, and to be fed. At first, I embedded seamlessly into my family. Even though we looked nothing alike, I never questioned that I was the daughter of my mother and my father, and soon the older sister to a baby brother. Even though I learned about the biological ties between family members through science classes and saw how peers interacted with their birth families, I never connected these lessons to my own existence. However, growing up soon came with the harsh mirror that exposed my most vulnerable parts, slowly ripping away my childish innocence. As I became more self-aware, I saw just how different I was from my family and began to question my comfortable place among my brother and parents. So whenever I had the chance at our yearly lunches around my birthday, I would question my birth mother about our shared blood and how I came to be. From my birth mother, I learned the full story of my adoption, that I was not wanted by my absent birth father, who possessed severely negative personality characteristics I feared would pass down to me, despite my lifelong separation from my bloodline. Sometimes I found myself being angry at my birth mother for allowing me to come into the world without a plan, angry at my birth grandparents for their prejudiced ideas about premarital children, and angry at my birth father not only for abandoning my birth mother, but also for giving me his problematic blood. I was angry from inside out, and I began to resent my own existence at times. Even though my mom tried to calm my frustrations, I was fully convinced that I was destined for the same difficulties that my absent birth father encountered throughout his life. Thoughts seeped into my mindset like threats. Blood is thicker than water. You can't outrun nature. I believed these ideas were true about me and lost the thread connecting my life to my purpose, to my community, and to my self-love. For several years, I was mentally and emotionally distant from my family. I was intent on rooting out whatever parts of my blood felt unclean or tainted, and made the mistake of defining myself by my worst days. On the worst of my worst days, my mom practically busted down my door to embrace me, letting me know that I was always going to be her daughter, and that she would help me out of the dark spiral I had gotten myself into. That night, my mom and I talked about the uniqueness of our situation. My mom told me, "I did not adopt you with the idea that I would ever own you. I adopted you to give you a good life, to love you, and to support you down whatever path you may take." She used this reasoning when explaining to me why she allowed me to keep in contact with my birth family. My mom did not want to protect me from the reality of my birth story, demonstrating to me that I would one day need to reckon with the boundary between my family and my blood. I'm grateful for that decision now, even if at the time it was hard to process. Soon the vials of blood were taken, and a journey from mental illness to mental health began. In this process, I discovered that even though my blood will always be different from my parents and my brothers, that we share the same heart, and sometimes even the same brain. I accepted that this family, my family, would help me take care of any issues I had with my blood. And I realized that I do not need to earn the love I receive from them, that it is unconditional. I also learned to be grateful for the positive traits I inherited from my birth mother. Her kindness helped me realize that I did come from a loving heart who cared for me no matter what. Having gone through this journey of navigating blood relationships, I've become fascinated with the field of psychology and social work. I've studied the question of nature versus nurture, confronting interdisciplinary answers, and bringing lessons from my own life into my growing intellectual perspective. Through work within the adoption community, I've been inspired to one day help others who have issues with their blood like I did. My story has also pushed me toward another area of impact, birth, where I've spent the last couple of years apprenticing midwives during the prenatal process. For me, my birth remains the most pivotal aspect of how I came to be, even though I've taken a million turns to change the course of my life already. I know how important it is to ensure that the birth process is protected for parents of all kinds, especially for those like my birth mother and birth father, who are unprepared and under-resourced. I intend to live a life that understands the power of blood, but not one that is governed by it. Although I will always have a sticky connection to blood, I'm defined by the love I give to the world and the love I receive from it. This I believe.